they're focused to all over to the cinema end now. No more TV.
Yeah, after Ahsoka's done, after the next season of Ahsoka, that's probably going to be it, unless something turns around.
Oh yeah, no way you'll get into Ahsoka season 3 now. Not after that decision, you know. So we'll say goodbye to live action Star Wars series. But anyways, folks, this is of course the MCU'S YouTube channel and podcast. Another wonderful cut right into the studio start for the show tonight. We're here to do Alien Earth episode 5. We have a great guest panel with us tonight. It is, of course, Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I'm Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge. I'm humbled to be the host of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. With me on the guest panel tonight, my co-host Cyberneticshark, Andre's the pop culture guy, Drew from Nights of Nostalgia, Matthew from Born to Watch. Good to see everybody. Glad to have you back. All you returning guests. Drew, always good to have you back, brother. And we always love seeing you. And Matthew, sorry we haven't had you on in a while. You know, we had a chance to have you on, for Resident Evil, and I fucked that up, unfortunately. So, but
you made me watch Resident Evil, and I didn't get to finish.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We ended up not doing that film, and I actually really liked that movie too. So I was looking forward to talking about it. But either way, we're here to talk about Alien Earth episode 5, a fucking straight up fucking like TV classic like type of episode, total high end fucking like whatever you want to call it episode of Alien Earth. So right off the bat, besides just mentioning really quick that we are a podcast at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, and we'd appreciate a follow or a rating at any given time. Besides that, just going around the panel really quick, since we've already been bullshitting in the studio pre-show here about episode 5 a little bit, what's everybody's general thoughts, I guess, on episode 5 overall, and then I guess also especially for you, Drew, and for Matthew, what are your thoughts on Alien Earth so far? And I'll defer, of course, like I always do, to our returning guests. So I'll go to you first, Drew, and then I'll go to you, Matthew.
As somebody who absolutely adores Aliens, and to a lesser extent, Alien 3, I like the show quite a bit. It's not quite hitting the same tier levels as Alien and Aliens for me, but it's getting pretty close. This recent episode was really, really good, but I'm sure we'll break it down in more detail here in a little bit. I just, like we said, it's sort of like a truncated film in and of itself, and we get to see recontextualize a little bit of the.
Oh, Drew, if you want to get into any of that, feel free, brother. You can take the time.
Well, when we start breaking it down, I'll go into that. But just overall, the show I like pretty good. I respect the hell out of Noah Hawley just from his work with Fargo and Legion as well. I believe he did. And I see a lot of the same editing, the same sort of pacing, and the same sort of characterization as I do in a lot of the Fargo seasons here. There's one slight thing that's sort of like it's hard for me to judge just yet is sometimes in the present day episodes, it's almost like the show is borderline juggling a little too much sometimes. Like it seems like the xenomorph is sort of taking the sideline a little bit for like all this other stuff involving android kids and borderline Blade Runner storyline versus evil corporation that will finance your organs. So we're also doing repo. Like it almost seems like we're doing way too many sci-fi tropes in one. I would wish it would focus a little bit more on the horror aspect, but overall it's still very well put together. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I'm liking it a lot more than let's say Romulus and any of the other more recent Alien stuff out there. It's way better than the AVP stuff. But so far so good. Noah Hawley is still hitting it out of the park for me.
Yeah, but Drew, how about as a TV show in 2025 though? You know what I'm saying? Like how's it faring from that perspective?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's well produced, it's well acted. It's Noah Hawley really captures the tone and feel of the original Alien. I mean, it handles the what I thought.
It's very popular right now. You know what I'm saying? Like people are talking about,
Oh yeah, well, so Romulus did this annoying thing where it was just doing like fan service for like fan service sake, and like here it feels like very well earned fan service. Like it's like I'm like, oh, they did a great job making the ship look great, and the characters all feel and act naturally, sort of like in the original, like the old, like they were just in the original Alien, they're just sort of like redneck space truckers, which is and everyone's also pretty smart for the most part, so I like that as well.
Okay. All right, Drew. Most definitely. Matthew.
Yeah, it's. I think that Drew really nailed it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I thought the first episode really hooked me. The first 5 minutes of that sort of gliding through the ship and just getting that nostalgic burst from the original Nostromo, and just I thought the production value of the series is just incredibly good. I tend to agree with you, Drew, that I think that this episode here proved that they could have done a whole first season just on these guys, just on them getting the aliens, just on this and on the, I guess, on the stuff that we found out in this episode about the, I guess, about Yutani and about the Prodigy and all that kind of, this could have been the whole season broken up. And I think that they are trying to juggle too much. And I found that when they do tend to not focus on these core characters or on the xenomorph, or I find myself not necessarily drifting out, but not as excited about it. Like, I find the Android kids are good, but I find them, a couple of them, to be maybe possibly a little bit annoying. But in general, I am this episode 5 of Alien Earth is the best that the Alien franchise has been since Aliens. I think this is the closest that I've gone, shit, this is, I'm in. And I think that I'm hoping they haven't missed an opportunity here to what they've done this episode, and it can carry on for the rest of the series. But all in all, it's great. I think it's, as I said, as a whole, as a TV show, it's captivated me. I'm in. I can't wait for every Wednesday to sit down and watch it. And yeah, but this episode especially, I think, is absolute, just top shelf.
Okay. Cyberneticshark, sir. Cyber, you there, bro?
He's eating.
Yeah, he's eating. Don't let him choke.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cyber.
Don't let the show get in the way of Cyber's dinner.
I just saw you were hanging out there ready to talk. My bad, sir.
I said, hold on a second. I went, oh, hold on.
Okay.
I had to get my wonderful little mouse here so I could unmute myself, sir. Okay. So refresh my memory. What's the question?
Your general thoughts on episode 5, sir, and then just if you have anything to say about Alien Earth as a season so far, or anything like that. Nothing too complicated, sir.
Okay. Well, there was 2 other people ahead of me, and I need a refresher. Anywho, I mean, awesome episode, excellent episode. Just like everyone has mentioned, it's a very, very much like a mini movie, and contained in this whole thing. And it was great to finally see that they kind of gave you answers to what was going on in the ship, leading up to Morrow taking over and crashing. How he did in the first couple episodes we saw. So it was nice to finally get that kind of, them going back to this great kind of like, not a filler episode, but a prequel episode to give you backstory so that you understand things better, which I thought was a really great idea, especially after last week's episode being very much a filler episode, as majority of us mentioned last week.
It's a flashback episode, Cyber. Flashback episode.
I said that, sir. Who's not listening now? Anyways, so I think that the flashbacks, episode is fantastic. Overall, I think the season has been really spectacular. And I think that it's, I think overall it's it's acting and doing a very good job of being a great addition to the Alien universe. It's really giving you a lot of great knowledge that I think we don't know from other previous films. and I think that Noah Hawley is kicking ass with it. So, big kudos to him. So overall, so far a great series so far.
Okay. Andre, the pop culture guy, sir.
Yeah. Just to echo everyone, I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise. I love the first two movies. I haven't seen Alien 3 yet. I heard the crazy rumors and all that, the legend of Alien 3.
It's very watchable, but it's not like at all at the same level as like the Alien, the first film or Aliens.
Yeah,
David Fincher's first film.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, wow.
It's very watchable, and you know what I'm saying. And Sigourney Weaver is good in it and everything.
Oh yeah, she's always good, and of course, Alien Direction. I mean, it's pretty bad, but like at least Sigourney is great still as Ripley.
It was the last actual like serious, dramatic, well done Alien film before they decided to go into the gutter.
Yeah, and then of course you got the AVP ones, which I'm like, yeah, the worst things ever to happen with both franchise. To be well, I mean, it was pretty bad for the Aliens movie because I mean, at least they got the Predators right. Because for me, the Predator was the worst thing for the Predator franchise. But anyway.
The fourth film they did with Sigourney was actually embarrassing for her. To be honest with you, I felt like they embarrassed her a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when we do the review, I kind of agree with you. It was pretty embarrassing, but yeah, when we got information when the Disney deal happened, it was like, okay, what was the next step for the franchise? Besides the movie, and the television side was like, okay, that makes sense. But then when Noah Hawley became part of the show, I was like, perfect, great. Just like Drew brought up before, Fargo is an amazing show. My introduction to him was Legion, another great show. I mean, one of the best Marvel shows ever. And I was like, perfect. And so far, it's been great. Just kind of get out the some of the nitpicks. I do agree with Drew and Matthew kind of brought up before. Like, this show is handling a lot of characters. I mean, to juggle. And, yeah, it is, but at the same time, at least these characters are interesting, and I like that it's very sci-fi, because that's the one thing I did not like about the AVP movies. They were so schlocky, like just B-level movies, and like they never did nothing interesting with the premise. I like that this show has done a really good job of being very sci-fi, and I was very surprised and happy they're doing as Drew, you brought up before, Blade Runner stuff, which was really cool, and respect to Ridley Scott, because they love the first Alien movie, and Scott is an amazing filmmaker, so you see that love and care they're doing with the show. I mean, the production side is like so beautiful. It really captures the 1979 classic. And so for this episode last week, I saw the episode title when they say in space, no one, and I was like, oh, we're probably gonna get something really good with that, because obviously that tagline is so famous from the first one. The famous tagline, in space, no one hears you scream, or something like that in that I think way. And I was like, okay, what was this going to be about? And I was so happy. We got a flashback episode. I just loved the editing. I just loved the direction that Noah Hawley did. Like, as we kind of brought up before the live stream, it felt like a mini movie for a show, which is so cool. And I just love that we got all the answers, which is great. Like, I was like, okay, why did the kid wanted the aliens, and Marrow, like, what was his stick, and I was so happy that we got all that answer in this episode. And just again, they're just
they finally humanized him for the first time.
That is actually a good point. Yeah, Jeff, it was really great to humanize him finally. I was like, well, because all of us were kind of confused. Like, some of our guests kind of confused. Like, wait a minute, is he a synth or a cyborg? He's a cyborg, but just the way he acts and how he is like, oh, I see how he is. He's this, he's a cold person, but like he has emotions, and it's just that he has gone through, tough shit, in his life, and like this is how he is, and to see him, handle this situation in this episode is like, okay, I see what, he wasn't trying to like, he was trying to avert the danger, but like unfortunately, just like typical alien situation, it just falls apart.
Followed his protocol as his job.
Yeah, exactly. So so he did his best. Try to prevent death and all that. But yeah, so I'm very excited to talk about this episode with you guys. This definitely I can say it right now, like this is my favorite episode for this first season. I think I don't know how they're gonna top this out, but it's really good. It's really good.
Well, they don't have to top it. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean,
the show's been pretty consistent so far, so I'm sure that they can deliver for 3 more good episodes. But there's nothing wrong with having it. Look at Ahsoka. To bring that back up, they had that really great episode 5 where they brought Anakin back and everything. And all that. That was a great episode. And it was episode 5. But this is a Disney show essentially. FX is owned by Disney now. They have been for years. So it's kind of strange. I don't think I don't know if everyone realizes that. Out there, but this Disney does own FX. It's like a subsidiary essentially to Disney. I got another question for you guys before we get into the episode breakdown. And this is something that I've had like interpersonal conversations with Drew recently about online and whatnot. All these TV shows that are costing like 200 to 250 million to 275 million to 300 million dollars to the Rings of Power, 500 fucking million dollars or whatever, a season or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is not feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like overall, like, you know what I mean? Like it's obvious, like, that like these really good shows, like Shogun's really expensive to make. You know what I'm saying? Like how many seasons are they really going to be able to make of these shows is my question is like, typically, we've always grown up, liking television and enjoying it when a good show has a lot of seasons. That used to be like an important factor with a good show, having longevity, having 5, 6, 8 years of the show, what do you guys think about, these really super high budget, series that they're coming out now, especially with the streaming services, involved, and sort of, how it's limiting, what you can really get out of the TV shows in terms of the amount of seasons, that they can even make at these scales. And this time I'll flip it around and I'll go back to you, Cyber, first.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear Cyber. Sorry. Anywho, so what do I think about how much the money is? About how much they're spending on the series?
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, they can't make more than 2 seasons of these shows, because of how much they fucking cost. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like it's obvious they're not going to be able to like continue to make season after season of these kind of shows at these costs, at these budget costs. You know what I'm saying? It's just not feasible for these companies to shell this money out long term. What do you think of that in itself? You know what I'm saying? The fact that, when you like a good TV show, you want to see it like last for multiple seasons if possible, as many as you can get. So we're kind of getting limited, by that. And then what do you think of how, how it affects the whole television industry in a way? Seeing this much money being spent, to produce some of these television shows recently, like Andor, $275 million, Acolyte, $250 million.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I don't really see the big difference between TV show and movie. To me, they're both the same damn thing. Just one's on the small screen, one's on the bigger screen. So quality is going to be quality. And if you want quality for TV shows, you're going to have to put the money in to get that to look as good as a movie. And when you want to make a show that you want people to keep watching, like Alien Earth, like Andor, like Ahsoka, any of the Marvel shows over the last 5 years, they all have to have a really high budget to get movie quality, things. But as we have seen, like with, Secret Invasion and a few other of the Disney shows, that money was lacking in some of those, causing them to look like they were shit. So,
don't forget, Secret Invasion was $250 million. It was pretty expensive.
It still was expensive, but it wasn't expensive as some of the other things. Most of that money was not for special effects. It was for the people they were trying to get to be in the show. So you got to remember that. Remember, not all the money goes towards special effects for these. It's the actors and actresses that are in this shit that they have to pay a lot of money to get to be in these shows too. So you got to remember that too. So it's not just special effects and stuff like that. The special effects themselves would probably cost a good couple of million, but also you're going to spend quite a couple of million to get certain actors to be in the show. Hence why Secret Invasion was so expensive. Samuel L. Jackson was a pretty penny. So was Emilia Clarke, and so was Ben Mendelsohn. They all are rising stars. They all were very big, popular in each of them. I think all three of them together combined was about $125 million for all three of them. So, you got to remember that it's not just that stuff to create the TV show. It's also the actors, the writers, and everything like that are paying for it. So, like shows that last 10 years, like, for instance, The Big Bang Theory and stuff like that, those shows, the people were making $1 million an episode. So if they do 24 episodes, that's $24 million right there. So say if each person of the main cast was making $24 million an episode or $24 million a season, you combine that by 5, that right there is already like over 200-300 million.
They worked their way up to that, Cyber. You know that. They didn't all make that million in the first couple of seasons. That they built their way up.
Yes, I know. But I'm just saying, in general, there is a price to pay for everything. Anywho, so yeah, overall, I think that this show can last a few seasons. There's several shows that have a budget that's similar to this that have lasted a few seasons. And I think that, with how popular it is, how big it is, and how this is doing so well compared to the movies in the last 10 years, I think that they'll put the money into making this series and continue it. I mean, look at Wednesday on Netflix. That show is probably around $200 million to make with the stars and everything involved with it. And that's already gotten greenlit for the 3rd season. So, I mean, these are things that can happen. So, yeah, I don't see any problem with Alien Earth having 1 or 2 more seasons. I think what it's going to come down to is where they want to take the story and what the next movie will be is really the key for this show.
Okay. Thank you, Cyber. All right. I'll go back to you, Drew. Same question.
Well, I mean, we're currently in like a state of course correction as far as like Hollywood's concerned and just like the overall state of things. And this goes for like all movies, all TV shows.
Yes,
like
most
it was what did they didn't Disney even tell like the Andor showrunner that like streaming's dead and that and it's like you just gave him 300 million for your show and you're going to tell him that? Like, that's weird. But yeah, I mean, you can't expect your project to turn like the days of consistently hitting like over $1 billion revenue, like at the theaters, like it seems to be over outside of very special cases, like the Wolverine movie where they brought Hugh Jackman back after like 10 years or whatever. Or like, Guardians 3 had a lot of goodwill behind it. And the Spider-Man movie, I think those are all recent $1 billion movies, right? Everything else is like, it seems to be like the new standard is 500 million is like, but the problem is the budgets are still too high. So like what, Superman did like what, 600 million? Fantastic Four did like 500 million.
And some people would say, would have the opinion that the quality of films that are being made in the last couple of years just aren't at the kind of level of the films that can crack that mark. Drew.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see an argument for writing being worse in the more later years. It's interesting because like we're in a weird state where, you know, Superman can't hit 1 billion, but just a few years back, you know, Captain Marvel hit over 1 billion.
Yeah.
Aquaman hit over 1 billion. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of variables. It also doesn't help that things are on streaming services within 2 months after being released. People also just have great systems at home now. Like you can get a theater experience at home pretty much if you have enough a good enough setup. And I think we're really going to be seeing a corrections thing now where like we are not going to be seeing like actors being paid like 50, 60 million a picture or just anything like that. Like you can't sustain that, especially when you're not making the money. Like an example, I just saw Weapons a little bit ago. It was fantastic. It cost like 40 million to make, and it was one of the best films I've seen all year.
Yeah.
So, you know, budget and money, the money you put into it doesn't necessarily equal quality. Like
look at Godzilla -1, Drew.
5 million, 5 million budget, right? And it was like one of the
million.
it won an Oscar.
$17 million. They made it.
Oh, was it 17 million? I thought it was like 5 million.
It was 17 or 15. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But either way, that's still insane. That's still an incredible feat. So yeah, we're in a state right now where they're course correcting like crazy. Like we're like streaming, big budget streaming stuff's going to be gone. I'm going to assume that DC and Marvel are still going to be course correcting heavily, especially with Superman sort of probably what they consider to be underperforming. Whether I don't know if it's in the green or not, but it definitely didn't hit the numbers that they were hoping for. So and with the Fantastic Four and all the stuff that's happening towards that, I really don't know what their plan is, because isn't the new Avengers movie have like 250 characters in it or something?
Yeah.
Like how can you possibly make money
on like double the amount that were in Infinity War?
That's insane. But yeah, I mean, like I'm happy we're getting stuff like Alien Earth here. And this is one of those projects where at least I see where the budget's going. You know, that's what I'd like to see. I don't want to see Rings of Power. I don't want to see Acolyte, where it's just like these crazy budgets and it looks like shit. Like, how does that happen? How does Rings of Power have like a $500 million budget and it looks worse than Peter Jackson's trilogy from like the early 2000s?
It doesn't. Well, Drew,
it makes no sense.
Honestly, sir, we've reviewed Rings of Power as bad as it gets at times. It does look fucking good at times. It looks good.
I didn't see season 2. I watched season 1, and I was so put back by like
Cyber
armor and stuff.
What do you think? Rings of Power actually does look good, doesn't it? Doesn't it look pretty cinematic at times and stuff like that?
Yes, Ring of Power had okay visual effects. The first season definitely was not as good as the second season. Second season definitely was better. It didn't feel as agenda oriented, and it definitely had better action and better storyline.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was mainly like cinematic, like shot wise. I remember there being like some good landscaping shots and stuff like that. But like, I just meant like the armor and stuff just looked so cheap compared to the movies from early 2000s. And I don't know, just the dialogue I hated. Like I tuned out and I didn't even watch season 2, so I don't.
It looks expensive. Say you know, it's say what you want about the content or whatever, or whether it's good or bad. It looks like they spent a lot of money on it. You get that vibe from it.
Okay, I don't know. I like, considering that none of the people in it I even knew really much about. Like there was no huge names in it. I was just like, I don't know. It's to me it just felt like a very shallow version of the Peter Jackson's versions. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm glad like at least with this, expensive as it is, like Alien Earth looks like I see where that money went. Like Andor looked great too. So that if you're gonna drop that much money on it, at least show it off, you know.
I know it's staggering to think about how the Acolyte looked compared to the Andor.
Yeah, like everything in the Acolyte was just so terrible. It's like, between the acting, the look, everything.
There's space scenes compared to the space scenes that fucking that they pulled off in Andor season 2. You know, oh my god. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just they're not even close. You know, and they had the same budget basically. It's crazy.
Episode 8 of Andor is one of the most recent things where I'm like, man, that was damn good kino. Like, you know.
Most definitely, Drew. All right. Yeah, and you're right, Drew. I think you make a good point about the fact that there's going to be a course correction. There already is one in cinema in general, with with the end of like the superhero genre, domination of cinema. But also I think that the actors are getting paid too much money. I think and I think they're going to bring that down pretty soon. I think you're right about that. Andre's pop culture guy, sir. What do you think about this whole deal with these high budget shows?
I kind of agree with Cyber's opinion. It's similar to the movie situation, but just different. It's just like when you have a good team, they know how to spend the money and they know how to craft the show that we're seeing. Like,
but you got to remember, there's no box office money coming in for a TV show, and it's streaming, so there's no advertising money coming in either.
Let me get to that part, because I mean the thing you have to be successful now for television is not real. Yes, it's viewership, but it's also word of mouth, and thankfully, the word of mouth for Alien Earth has been positive. Same thing with Peacemaker. In comparison, Peacemaker season 2 is doing well for viewership, but also word of mouth. Like, that's the key thing. It's just like movies. Like, you need to have very good word of mouth, and you want your audience to be like, yeah, I will recommend this show or movie to the next person. That's how it is. And I think now studios need to understand that word of mouth is important. Like, look what happened 2 years ago with Oppenheimer. Barbie Oppenheimer had that great boost because of the word of mouth. Yes, marketing was the key thing, but like everyone on the internet just made it like this cultural thing. And I think now studios needs to learn how to to use word of mouth, get these movies and TV out there. And there's just a couple things.
Well, they're certainly not helping by doing like 3-episode drops at a time, like Andor season 2 and shit like that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of course corrections they have to do, for both television and movies. Television is like, I mean, it's very flexible sometimes. Like, people are, like, I'm kind of in the majority. Like, I don't mind seeing all the episodes drop, but at the same time, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like to see, the traditional, the weekly episode. Like, oh, it's coming out Wednesday, and like they're coming out every Wednesday. Like I'm fine with that format. So that's the like advantage of television viewing. It's like there's ways to watch it. Either drop it all or like do like the weekly format that the regular networks did. I think just net for me it's like if like just you need to control.
I like that with Netflix, and then having the rest of TV just be episodical. You know what I'm saying? Having one or the other. You know what I mean? I don't like the other. Yeah,
exactly. That Alien Earth, good example of that. We're getting these weekly, so that's like perfect, like just a good review. It's the same thing with Peacemaker. It's like this we need that. I want that to come back. I don't want this like weird drop of like 2 episodes. Like, I'm fine with dropping 2 episodes, like to pump up my excitement, but don't do the Ironheart thing or the Andor stuff of like releasing a 3-pack. Like, it's just too much. In terms of movies, just bringing up Knight's thing with Superman and Fantastic Four. It's just like those franchise were coming off with really bad, poorly received previous versions of those characters. Unfortunately, so it was going to be an uphill battle for those 2 movies to make those big movies. I mean, thankfully, Superman did well. To answer a Knight's question, it did hit the green in terms of like getting its budget back.
You make a good point, Andre. Superman, you're right, is tough. They make the films. You know what I'm saying? Just because of what kind of character he is. You know what I mean? And Fantastic Four is tough too. It always has been tough to like make a Fantastic Four film work. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not going to be Spider-Man or Batman where they have the bigger trust and popularity. I mean, the Batman was in 2022 and that crossed over 700 million. And that was in like post-pandemic because look, it was what 8 or 10 years since Dark Knight Rises, and that was the new Batman movie. It had all the major Batman villains, that was the big thing. So, like, you have to think, like, oh, this movie has this, and with those two movies, they had stuff for us, but, like, what about the norm?
They had really good trailers, too, and
Yeah.
that drove the word of mouth, like you said. But all right, so I'm gonna shut you off now because you'll go 60-minute man at any given fucking moment here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go over to Matthew because he comes all the way over from Australia to record live stream with us at like early ass weird ass times to chill with us. So I want to get him in the conversation. Matthew, now you've got a chance to soak up everybody else's opinions. What do you think about my initial question, sir?
Yeah, look, I've got no dramas with big budget TV. I think prestige TV, I'd much prefer Alien Earth to have 2 exceptional seasons rather than it drag on for 5 or 6 so-so seasons. I would way much prefer that. And I think from a we're in the middle of the, they might be saying that streaming is dead, but the streaming wars are full on, and it's about it's about the content that's on your platform, right? And the perfect example, someone mentioned Wednesday, and they do it with Stranger Things as well on Netflix, where they're releasing them in half seasons to get new subscribers to subscribe for the amount of time until they release the second half of the season, right? So for them, it's about increasing subscribers. So for them, 250 million on a season of Alien Earth, it might get them 1.5 million new subscribers, right? So for them, paying $30 a month or whatever they pay a month, it's good maths and it works. And then you might drag them and they might stay. So for them, I sort of get it. And for me, I think we're reaping the benefits of that. We're getting some quality TV series that have got big budgets. Yep, there are some shit ones, there's no doubt. But, and the question has to also be asked, like, if True Detective, which I think is one of the best TV series ever in the last ever.
Yeah.
Did they need to make season 2, 3, 4, which have never been any good, right? They have never captured.
No, but Matthew, to be fair, the vision of it, to do it the way that the whole concept of it, to bring in the new actors every year, every season, all that whole concept did seem interesting at that time.
It did seem interesting. They fucked it the first time around in season 2, didn't work, right? It's just never captured that lightning in the bottle, right?
I heard the last season was decent. Didn't it win some awards and shit like that?
No, it was god awful. It was terrible. The one in
I didn't finish it. I was invested at the start. I thought it was a really cool premise.
What with Jodie Foster?
Jodie Foster. I thought it was a really cool premise, but then I just lost interest.
Okay.
It started off interesting, and by the final episode,
she's Jodie Foster. I think she got nominated for a fucking, who knows, a Golden Globe or something like that, just because she's Jodie Foster,
Yeah. So look, I think that the issue we've had since, and people can say there's been COVID changed the course of cinema, and there's no doubt it did. And I think that the box office has never been as good, but also the content hasn't been as good. The movies have predominantly been shit, right? And so I think that if you use Marvel as the perfect example, they've gone from the pinnacle of what they did with Endgame, and they're never going to top that. It's just not going to happen. They built 10 years of goodwill to get to that, and people invested in that 10 years and were rewarded for that. And so we sort of stupidly probably expected that this could continue forever, but in reality it can't. And I saw Superman. I enjoyed Superman. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Maybe that's the new normal now. Maybe that is, you're going to get, like what Drew said, that 600 million, 700 million is now a good movie. The issue is the budgets are still 250 million, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be, something's got to happen here, and it would seem that the craft of movie making has been lost, and we're now relying on the CGI. We're relying on all these bells and whistles rather than the art and the craft. Good acting, good story, good filmmaking has sort of been forgotten. Whereas I think with prestige TV, that's still at the core of it. The good series have good character, good writing, good filmmaking. And, the perfect example is this episode of Alien Earth, where, mate, that was just an incredible piece. If that cost $30 million to make, right? If you're saying it's $30 million an episode over the series, then how does Alien Romulus cost $250 million or $200 million to make? Or $150 million to make? It's not much different. It's only 30 or 40 minutes longer. And I get, and so that's the question. It's like, do we need to bring the skill of filmmaking back into filmmaking rather than it just being you've got $200 million, go and spend it. Because, I went and saw Jaws for its 50th anniversary in the cinema on the weekend, right? And that on the cinema was one of the best things I've seen. It looked beautiful. It was incredible. And I can't remember something that I've seen since in the last 5 years that compares to it.
Let's also point out, because no one else has mentioned it, that all of these really super high budget projects in these series all come from like the superhero or franchise, space. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are costing a lot of money. Your Star Wars,
For sure.
stuff like that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Game of Thrones didn't cost this much money. Game of Thrones.
No, I think the first season of Game of Thrones was just over $100 million, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Now,
yeah.
So, but also got to remember that the first season of Game of Thrones was 15 years ago now. So it was a long time ago now. If they made Game of Thrones today, I wonder what that budget would be. So I think they have forgotten the art of how to make film because they're lost in the expense. And it's like, it's almost like fuck what it costs, just make it. And then we complain because people get lazy and they rely too heavily on CGI or on a name, and they forget that at the very core of it, it's got to be the script, it's got to be the characters, it's the very basics, the very backbone of it. And I think that if we could get back to that, and I actually think that Alien Earth is not too far away from that, right? I think it is not too far away. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I think it's gotten back to, and this episode especially has gotten back to what people love about Alien and aliens. And I think that sometimes they forget that. I think Star Wars lost its way by trying to be everything to everyone. And sometimes you've just got to think, why do people watch these movies / TV shows? And go back to that. And I think that this episode especially, mate, if they made 3 more episodes of this, it would be my favorite TV series of all time. It was fucking incredible. And it's not difficult, but they seem to make it very difficult. I mean,
yeah, most definitely. Alien Earth is very popular. It's definitely one of the top TV shows of 2025 without question. Very good so far. And it's just an interesting conversation, where this is all going to go with all this money, then you got, you got your situations where you've got like your Christopher Nolan's, right? Where his movies cost a lot of money, but they make money, every time. You know what I mean?
Well, you think the litmus test now is going to be the next Avengers movie, right? Because that's going to cost $500 million to make.
Yeah, I mean,
and if it doesn't make $2 billion, it's not making money. So it's
I think it'll make over $1 billion just because it's the Avengers.
It probably will. It probably will, and it's the Russos, and it's got
the trailers,
Danny Jr.
They'll make really good looking trailers too, because Marvel can do that. They make great trailers. It'll look great.
Imagine making $1 billion for your movie and still being in the red.
And that's the concern. That's the concern, and that's what I fear is going to happen. That's
the curse of the MCU model, bro. At the end of the day, if you've read their whole history and everything, and how it all got to where it's at, you know what I mean? That's the curse of the MCU at the end of the day, is that it costs so much fucking money to make these films. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you make the Avengers ones with 50 fucking characters and all that shit in one scene and all that kind of crap.
What was the budget for the first Avengers? I'm just curious. I don't know if.
Oh,
It was
Andres, can you look it up real quick?
The first one was 220, and then Age of Ultron was very expensive. It was like 350, and then the Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame were split to like I think 250 because they were back to back. So they were very
Endgame and Infinity War were more than 250. They were over. Endgame, Infinity War might have been less than 300, but Endgame was over 300.
Okay, here we go. 220 for the original.
Yeah.
And then it was 365 for Ultron.
Where did $355 million go for fucking Ultron?
365 for Ultron.
Yeah. It was
316 for Infinity War and 356 for.
How did Ultron
Endgame.
cost more than Infinity War when they had all the fucking like crazy more actors and like characters in Infinity War and all that shit?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's wild.
Yeah. Well, remember, for me, because Robert.
What did they do that was so special about Age of Ultron that it cost that much fucking money?
Well, remember,
there's a lot of CGI characters in Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. A lot, and then location. It was because that movie was more location like hopping movie, and then Robert, he was done with his 5-year contract with Marvel. Remember, there was a big deal after the first Avengers movie because Iron Man 3 was his last in terms of the 5-picture deal he signed when he joined the MCU, and so Avengers: Age of Ultron was the new deal for him to continue.
Oh, that was his first film on his new contract?
Yeah, and so it could have, that was like a big cost for them to like get him back. So that's why that movie is expensive as it is because of that. I just wanted to know like the audience that like we're not talking about like adjusting inflation. We're just talking about how they were like with budget back like when they were released.
I knew Infinity War was only like 250 or 225 million or something like that, you know, but Endgame was over 300. I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. These studios need to like control like what would you call it, like cost control their budgets because it's like
I don't want to get into it at the end of the day because we want to talk about episode 5. But bottom line, I don't see why the next Avengers film should cost $500 million. The actors and actresses that are going to be in that film, I can't imagine a lot of them are on like major contracts or where they're making crazy money, you know, like I don't know.
They're paying Robert Downey Jr. $100 million.
Yeah.
I
There's $100 million for one person, mate.
I know.
And there's 40 characters. If they average $5 million each, that's $300 million to have the cast.
I saw the article from that Namdani guy, remember the Indian actor or whatever that was in the Eternals, complaining about how like when he signed up with Marvel, they guaranteed him that like he was gonna be in like 7 different movies, fucking be on a TV show. Like
he was really hurt. He was really hurt when he found out that like nobody saw the Eternals.
He was like I'm gonna be making Marvel movies for the next 10 years straight of my career. Like that's what's gonna happen with all this shit, you know.
Now, I know we don't want to go too much into this, but have you seen the cast list for Doomsday?
Yeah.
Right. So, mate, Pedro Pascal's going to get 25 million, 30 million to be in it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to add up. Like,
Pascal is like the most in demand, like high paid actor, like across the span of television and movies right now.
Mate, you've got Ian McKellen, Chris Hemsworth, Channing Tatum, Tom Hiddleston, Benedict Cumberbatch, Patrick Stewart, Sebastian Stan. There's $200 million minimum. $300 million. Like it's going to be mental.
Ian McKellen is so old. He should give them a discount because you're going to get like really old ass Ian McKellen in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
it's mental.
Oh my
god. Sorry, I just had to say that. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be an expensive movie. I guess it'll be $500 million. Who knows? You know,
it's gonna be more than that. If they say it's 500, they're lying to you. They're lying to us at 500 million.
All I know is Ironheart better not be in that fucking movie. I do not want to see Ironheart in that movie. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to see her in one scene. None of it. I don't want to see her. You know, and I'm pissed off that Marvel crammed Mephisto into her goddamn junk ass show. What a waste.
Hang on. Avengers Doomsday reportedly has a staggering budget of $1 billion.
Oh my god.
There you go.
$1 billion. That's Austin Powers money.
Are they bringing Kang back?
They should. Didn't he get cleared? Didn't he get cleared for all his charges? Didn't he get cleared?
I think he's still raping somewhere.
No, didn't he get cleared? That motherfucker didn't even do anything anyway.
He went back to his home planet like Poochie.
No, I saw him. I've seen him acting in something recently. I saw an advertisement or something. He's actually active still.
$1 billion. Fuck a duck. Anyway.
Poor guy. That's what happens, people out there in the audience. When you fuck with them crazy ass bitches, they're just fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? As good as the pussy might be, crazy shit can happen, and that's what happened to Jonathan Majors. You know. That, and I guess he's a little bit aggressive too with the ladies occasionally. Anyways, all right. So Alien Earth episode 5 is fucking awesome, as we've already talked about. No Space, No One is the title. Written, directed by Noah Hawley, the fucking god of the evening. I unfortunately, Drew, have not seen Fargo, but I've heard about how great it is. I can just imagine. I saw bits and pieces of Legion, and it looked great. It's definitely on my list of things I've got to go back and watch at some point. It looked really interesting. And I love the character from the comics. But anyways, all right. So episode 5 starts off with a flashback from 2 weeks prior. Shows how the outbreak occurred on the Maginot. Moreau is woken from cryosleep after a saboteur damages the ship controls and releases 2 facehuggers, which latch upon Dinsdale and Bronsky. Dinsdale dies from its acid blood when ship doctor Rahim attempts to cut the tail from his neck. Bronsky is placed in cryosleep to prevent the gestation of the xenomorph. But this fails. And I'll stop right there. I'm sorry. Let me keep going. But this fails in Chubutso's, I'm sorry if I butchered that, lab. One leech specimen manages to open its test tube from the inside and lays its larva in her water bottle. I'll stop there. That's a nice big chunk episode right there. So a lot occurs between, the start of the, the finish of all that I just laid out there. It ends off with, the infection of the larva into the water, which ends up killing off obviously multiple, members of the crew eventually. But we'll talk about that on the next section. We at this point, they've already had the 2 facehuggers get out, and latch on to 2 of the crew. One of them are dead. One of them is put in cryo sleep with the facehugger. That we see is like still twitching and shit and all that, before they close the door. And we kind of get a real feel for the relationships of the dynamics between the captain who's fucking Bronsky or whatever, and then his relationship with her relationship with the security guy, Murrow, and kind of his relationship with the rest of the crew, right? You've got that weird bald fucking guy that's really weird and bizarre, right? And it really has that creepy fascination with that chick that's in cryo sleep or whatever. And there's also sabotage going on the ship. So the ship's getting fucked up by sabotage. And the security, guy Murrow this whole time is trying to investigate and figure out what the fuck is going on, right? So, Matthew, I'll go back to you, sir. Back again to you for Board to Watch. What are your thoughts on that chunk of episode, sir?
Yeah, awesome start. Again, the nostalgia beats of seeing the ship and everything that takes you back into the Nostromo in Alien is amazing. I love we've already mentioned the flashback episodes are great, and this starts really strong, and with the facehuggers being let out, with the sabotage, I think that whole thing is awesome. I love that for something that we have not seen throughout. Really, they tried it in Alien where they tried to remove the tail, but this was the failed tail removal, which actually starts with gets the death of the captain, which is great. I thought that these aliens
showed it too. You actually saw the fucking where the acid went right into his mouth, all that shit.
Yep, it really fucked him up. I think that the aliens that they've gotten are the smartest and meanest aliens in the universe. The little tick thing that can open the latch to open the thing to get out and lay its lava. Very, very smart, very intelligent. The eyeball that can slingshot itself and smash itself off. These are the most intelligent aliens in the universe. There's no doubt. But I had my doubts about Morrow throughout. I didn't really know where he sat, and because I guess we got no backstory until this episode about what happened and why he is the way he is. So I really enjoyed that, peeling back the layers of him and finding out why he is the way that he is. And I think that he was a character that I sort of struggled with a little bit, and now I was like, I'm all in on Team Morrow. I think he's fucking awesome. I really like his character a lot. I think that we're getting back to that a little bit more towards that horror-y sort of feel. Again, really good start to the episode. I think the production value here is incredible and a great start.
All right, Matthew. You are a man of few words, but a quality contributor on the guest panel as always.
I spoke too much the last time.
I thought you were okay.
I don't want to become Andre.
Well, you know what? It could be worse.
Could I?
You could be that guy with the fucking face hugger, fucking that, or his throat got fucking, acid and fucking through or whatever the fuck,
Yeah. Well, at least he wouldn't have known.
There had to be Murrow fucking and have that alien drip fucking fluids on your face and shit and everything before the door closes and all that shit, and then you gotta like lay there while it's like trying to beat the door in to kill you, for several minutes. You know what I'm saying? That shit would be fucking seriously fucking tense, bro. Anyways,
my question, just before we go, but my question for you guys is, what is Morrow? Because is he a robot?
Murrow is no, he's a he's a cyborg.
He's human, but he's
human, but he has advancements. He has like
all right,
implants and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He's been surgically altered.
Right. Okay. Right. Cool. Because I just wasn't sure because he smokes and he has a daughter, but he's
interface with electronic, devices and shit like that, like through his mind and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Through devices and all that kind of shit. He's got some kind of like something in his brain implanted. He's
half. He's half human, half.
We'll talk about at the end of the episode. How interesting it turns out he is. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? There's a reason. This whole time there must have been a reason for him having all these resources and whatnot. But he just has all these implants and he's been altered. So he has all these abilities. But he's still human. He's still flesh and blood can be killed and everything, and all that.
But the aliens ignore him.
No,
that's because he's learned that if you don't show fear, you know what I'm saying, they don't show any interest in you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Is that an established rule in Alien lore though, or is it just
they established it in Alien Earth that Yutani knows that information already. They seem to already know about the aliens. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw that in episode 5, right? Like they know the gestation period of the alien and all that and everything.
No, what I'm saying is the idea of if you don't fear the alien, it has no interest in you. Is that in the movies?
No. This is a new thing.
That's a rule that's just in this, right?
Yeah,
it's never happened, Drew, until now. Yeah.
It's because everyone up until now has absolutely shit their pants whenever they've seen it.
So,
I guess nobody's tried not being afraid of it.
Yeah. Sorry, don't shit your pants. Don't shit your pants. Don't shit your pants.
They're also for the first time demonstrating that they have information on some of these creatures already. You know what I'm saying? They're establishing that they've already know what's happened with some of these aliens. You know what I mean? And they have some background info on them. And you know what I'm saying? You know,
which makes sense. Like it connects to very well the first movie. Plus, another thing that they also added that makes sense was in episode 2, if you're not a synth, the eggs don't like hatch and grab you to, you know, it fits you. That was another hint that he was still human in episode 2 when Tiffany's character Kirsch, our other synth that we like as well. He was in the room where, you know, Marvel was talking to the 2 kids, and like he implant the one kid slightly with the communication thing he's going to do that we were seeing in a few episodes, and the eggs were hatching because he was there, because he, you know, despite he is a cyborg, he's still human, and so they were starting to hatch, but they were not hatching when Wendy, Slightly, the other kid, and Kirsch were in that room because there were synths, because they didn't have all the, you know, the whistles, you know, all that. So that was another cool thing that they added in. That's like, oh, Mara was half human, you know.
They were really consistent with that, just to be real. Like they showed some scenes where there were humans walking right around them and shit like that, and nothing was even happening. You know what I mean? It made no sense.
It's good. Well, and also the kid, I forgot Cavalier, when he was in the room in episode 3, they were starting to hatch when he was in that. Yeah. So it was, they were building to that. So yeah. Anyway.
All right. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I will go back, Andre. Since you're talking anyway, sir, I'll just let you keep talking. You can go next on the episode.
Well, I'm happy that Matthew doesn't want to be me. That's great. I'm very proud of that. You know, I just want to say that. So I try not to be 60-minute man. Yeah, I love this opening. When we started to do the like traditional alien thing, I was like, damn it, Jeff is gonna have the best episode tomorrow. I was like, curse you, episode 5. Wow, fantastic opening. It was great to I really appreciate that Mara was our main character to follow, because he's been so far my favorite character, and I think everyone's favorite character, because he was so interesting, he was so mysterious. We got some, you know, hints, he knows the previous was it Yantani owner before her granddaughter took over, when he came back from the 65 year mission. So it was great to really finally get him to be the focus of this, you know, episode. And yeah, the production was just spot on, and just seeing, you know, the 2 face huggers affecting those, you know, the captain and then the science officer, I guess where it was. And it was good to see, like, one of you guys brought up before, the character thematic with these the ship people. You know, we got the engineers, you got the 2 scientists, and then you got the captain, the lady captain, how she, you know, talk and interact with Marrow. You know, that was very interesting in that one scene in the medical bay, if you call it. And even that reminded me of the first movie when, you know, if you remember what happened with oh my god, that's got the actor's name, got infested. But yeah, so I just loved the first opening. It was just it took me, I you know, we brought before, I felt like a mini movie. I felt like I was in a movie. I was like, whoa, they're really pushing hard this, they really love the 1979 classic, and it's good. So there's more to talk about, because there was crazy moments. I was like, whoa, did not expect that. I did not expect that. And yeah, and I like the idea of a saboteur sabotaging the ship. That's such a cool and new idea that I'm surprised none of the alien movies have done that yet. So that was really cool to do that in this episode, because you know, these movies are always about corporate, you know, greed and all that, and how evil these business companies are, particularly Wayland and then this new company, Prodigy, are. So yeah, overall great opening. Very excited to talk about the other scenes that are really great.
Okay, Drew, you're next, sir.
Yeah, this first act of the episode is it's really solid. The pacing works. We just get all the really good characterization that Noah Hawley's known for here. And I was thinking to myself when I'm watching this, it would have been so easy for like a hack writer to just have the mentality of like, well, all these characters are going to be dead really soon, except for Morrow, so we don't have to worry. We don't have to bother writing fun little character idiosyncrasies or anything like that with these people. But Noah Hawley, characterization is his thing. So it was neat how this whole episode was sort of character driven, even though we already sort of know the end game for everyone outside of Morrow. And of course, Morrow being this character that, like, I don't know, I like Andreas, like you said, he seems to be almost everybody's like unanimous favorite. He just brings this like sort of energy and gravitas and seriousness to every scene. We know he's capable. We know he's got the confidence to, like, he's just like he's in charge of the scene every time he's in. It's yeah, like, I mean, just the little romance that they had with the captain and the that other fella, I forget his name. The sort of the guy and his little his like apprentice fellow, the engineer. Those two characters, those two characters are great. You got the creepy guy who's always saying vague, mysterious things. Who's Tang. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is definitely a red herring, right? He's not the saboteur. He's not the saboteur.
How weird's that guy?
I was expecting more from that character. I was like, is he gonna do something? I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I just love the fact that we actually took the time to actually give these people characters, even though we know they're going to be gone very soon anyway. As I said, it's sort of like a between the saboteur and then also simultaneously coinciding with every alien in the lab escaping on its own. Pretty much, it's like, oh, this is like a nightmare. I also want to. I'm sure y'all have talked about this before, but that eyeball alien, that thing is great. Like that's you know what? Like, I don't mind the xenomorph being sidelined a bit if we're going to get more stuff like that. Like last episode with the sheep and all that. I mean, that is some creepy ass shit. The ticks are creepy too, but man, that eyeball thing, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll get into it later with the eyeball guy because there's some interesting stuff to talk about there. But yeah, I think with this first act, I just wanted to say, like, getting more about Morrow and just establishing who are basically going to be our characters in this mini movie, which is going to be basically like we said, another alien movie. And just everyone does a great job. The music, the tone, the setting, it all just emanates like a really good emulation of the original Alien movie, which I think. And like Noah Hawley, he did Fargo based off of the Coen Brothers film Fargo.
Yeah.
So he's good at adapting. He's really good at adapting and capturing that feel and tone that like another auteur is already like.
That's a really good way of explaining what I was trying to say in the beginning of the show, Drew, about how I felt that same connection towards the first Alien film. You know what I mean? And you make a lot of really good points there. In terms of the connection. How big of a connection that is, obviously. To be able to pull that off. But not only that, but like how well acted those characters all are, and like how much depth they give you with these characters that are all going to die anyway, right? That's a great point. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to point that out. If you have anything else to say,
oh no, I appreciate that. No, I just get the vibe that Noah Hawley seems to be like a pretty great guy to work for, and he's going to get a great performance out of everybody he works with as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much my take on the first part of this.
Well, that's great information to hear. I mean, I don't really know anything about him. You know what I'm saying? So any extra information is always welcome. I'm sure if that's the truth, then I'm sure that probably helps it. Probably benefits, and it has something to do with why his stuff is so good, so well received. Cyber, sir, what are your thoughts on that chunk of the episode that I laid out, sir?
All right. So basically, the beginning of the episode is pretty stellar. I enjoyed it. I thought it was done well. I like that we get to see kind of what was going on, what led to the whole reason why the ship is out of control, why it crashes into the Earth. We get to see kind of the start of it with the face huggers, being let loose. Of course, at first, we don't know who it is. We find out later. But the whole thing about, taking Morrow out of cryo to be awakened to deal with this is kind of an interesting thing too, because you're like thinking to yourself like, chief security officer, why was he in cryo when he should have been awake the whole time anyway? It's like, so I thought that was kind of interesting that he was in cryo when, why wasn't he already awake when, he's supposed to be the chief security officer to begin with this whole thing, his, as he kept saying, his primary mission is to make sure the cargo survives. So I was like, thinking of some kind of, that's interesting. I wonder if they'll address that later on. But, leading up to your endpoint, I think it's, really interesting just kind of what goes on there. That bug thing being able to figure out how to unlock the cage so they could get out was interesting. It laying the eggs in the water, that was cool. Watching her like mess with the creatures too, that doctor or whatever you want to call her, and how that was going on, I thought that was kind of interesting. That the gentleman that's supposed to be like the head doctor there, he's an interesting character. That was, I thought, you got to see more of, got to shine a little more in this episode too, as well, kind of understanding him more. And I thought it was interesting just kind of how his character arc was and kind of how he was dealing with that stuff too, and how he was kind of like, seemed like he was very knowledgeable, but at the same time, you're kind of like, there's something a little off about him still. Which I felt like all the characters, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I felt like a lot of the characters, they all had something that seemed like there was something a little off about them. Like, definitely there could be something suspicious about them. And that I felt that they did a good job story-wise, keeping you on your toes, like who really is the culprit and all this kind of stuff. So, I thought it was a really solid beginning, really solid start. Lots of great bug action, alien action, and I thought it was a solid start to the episode.
Okay. All right. And I had kind of a side question for you guys. If you guys noticed, going back to that bald guy, Tang or whatever, right? And his whole weird obsession with that chick, and cryo sleep and all that. And then sort of some of the stuff with the boy genius and the female synth characters at the island and stuff like that. Have you guys noticed like a weird sexual tension, almost like a bizarre sexual tension at times during the course of the season? Because I have. We've talked about it on other episodes. And I want to know what you guys think about it. Cyber, I was talking to you anyway. I'll go right back to you. What do you think, sir, about that sort of, like almost cross the line sexual tension that they've got going on the show?
I really haven't noticed it. It hasn't really been a focus of mine. So I really don't have anything to say about it. I think there's nothing there.
Nah? Okay.
No.
All right. Drew, do you know what I'm talking about, bro?
I mean, outside of Tang possibly being like a weird creeper, I don't know if we get too much more outside of that. I didn't notice that in the other episodes, that there was like any sort of a...
Okay. I got like some real creeper vibes with like the boy genius guy, like the way he was like talking to and like kind of like interacting with some of the female synths. You know what I'm saying? Like, personally. What do you think, Matthew? Do you get where I'm going with this?
Oh, I think we've got to question the Tang Kang sort of thing. Maybe there is something going on with the Tang Kang thing. Tang's a definite creep, but no, I don't have your warp perception on perversion, Jeff. So I don't see anything going on with any synths or humans or child prodigies.
All right. Well, wasn't there supposed to be some kind of like weird sexual overtones about the aliens in general, like the way that they're made or whatever,
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's been part of the franchise. It's always.
Then they impregnate their host, and then reproduce through the host like that and everything,
Yeah, it's been part of the Alien franchise. I agree with you, Jeff. I've been noticing that as well. That's been part of the franchise, and they're just doing it in a very different and weird way with other characters. Like, I wasn't that surprised that they're going to do that with Tan, the synth, because these synths are so like unchecked and like so unpredictable as like.
Isn't Tang human?
No, Tank is a synth. Like,
Oh, he is.
yes. Like I think one of the.
So why did that alien attack him and kill him?
I mean, the alien wanted to kill him. I mean, that was the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't want to jump forward, but the ending, but
I couldn't tell if he was a synth or a human. I really couldn't tell this whole time.
So the engineer that was from Black Mirror, from the great episode White Bear, he was talking with Meryl and the captain, and you say, "Hey, do you want to talk about the saboteur public or private?" And then he just the Tan just replied, "Look, I know what you're talking about. He destroyed, blah blah blah, the whole engine, and it was going to explode." Like he was way more advanced on like what was very specific about the engines and all that, what the saboteur was doing. So he was a Sith, and and just the way he moves.
Okay, well that's good information. I didn't know that. I didn't realize he was the crew synth. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because like
that makes it even stranger that he has that obsession with that chick.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, but even
right.
not as weird as the boy. That boy is weird. In the Earth.
Now Kirsch fucks.
Oh, yeah. Oh dear. Oh god. Yeah.
What'd you say? Kirsch fucks?
Kirsch fucks.
If anybody's fucking on the show, it's Kirsch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kirsch gets laid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the bus boys. He fuck everybody.
He's running the whole show with all the little young synths and shit. Anyways, all right. So back to episode 5 of Alien Earth. So where we left off, or where we're at anyway, is that after the larva got expunged into the water bottle, witnessing this, the Oculus also escapes afterwards. The Oculus being the really cool eyeball thing that Drew mentioned. It's really fucking cool. I agree, Drew is a really fucking cool creature. What he did with that sheep or whatever was really fucking crazy. The water is drunk by apprentice engineer Malachite, and the larvae kill him from the inside. Chibozo and Rahim are also killed by their defensive toxic gas when trying to extract them, like the pods from inside his chest. After being interrogated by Moreau, Tang is killed by the fully grown xenomorph. Although he's like still pretty small. Crew engineer Petrovich is revealed to be behind the sabotage at the order of Boy Cavalier, who promises him a hybrid body if the ship crashes into Prodigy territory. So I'll stop there. And a lot obviously occurs during that section of the episode, right? There's the fucking I think during those the course of those scenes that I just laid out, basically you get the continued investigation and then finally the discovery of who the saboteur is, right? That sabotaging the ship and fucked up the ship to where now there's no fuel now, and now that they know they're gonna end up on like some kind of fucked up collision course with Earth or whatever, right? So basically the mission is getting more and more fucked up as we're going. It's getting like worse and worse, right? More people are dying, you know what I'm saying? Basically, shit's getting like really hectic, like the tension's really building at this point. Obviously it's a lie, Boy Cavalier can't actually, make that do a synth because he's too old. But it's interesting that information is out there that he would even ask him about that. I thought that was very interesting, right? But I'll go to you again, Cyber, to start off this time. What do you think about that section of the episode, sir?
Talking to me again?
Yes, Cyber. I said Cyber.
I didn't hear it again. Sorry. What was the question?
Oh, Cyber.
Cyber gets my MVP for tonight.
So I just laid it all out, Cyber. I just said that it was the water, the water got fucked up. I understand. The water got fucked up by the alien or whatever, larva shit or whatever, and killed fucking Malachite, the apprentice engineer dude or whatever. And then Shabazu and Rahim, the medical people or whatever, doctor motherfuckers, got killed by the gas that came out from the fucking pods or whatever that were in, the fucking engineer's chest that were killing them or whatever, so everything's getting all crazy at that point in the episode. After being interrogated by Murrow, Tang is killed by the fully grown xenomorph. And Murrow figures out that crew engineer Petrovich is the saboteur that's fucking up the ship. Because he made a deal with, Boy Cavalier or whatever, who promised him a hybrid body. And that's where we stopped.
Okay. So, I mean, this is where the episode really gets going. I mean, you start having the crew members get killed off. I mean, those bug things inside that guy was freaking insane. And then they were creating a gas that killed them. I was like, what? That was like crazy. And then, basically Morrow is still trying to control everything. I think at that point too, even with the other gal in charge, you're just kind of like, dude, Morrow, like, you're not in charge, bro. Chill out. And so, I think that Morrow needs to calm down a scotch, because I wanted to scotch him with my hand, because he just was so retarded sometimes. But anyways, he gets, I don't know, I just felt like he gets kind of irritating at some points there, and it just kind of drives me nuts. But then, I don't think that the captain in charge right now, she's not doing a very good job either. I think she's kind of like doesn't really know what she's doing and everything like that. And so her and Morrow kind of like bickering and stuff like that, it was kind of an interesting little like kind of twist to the story. Her really not kind of knowing, him supposedly knowing everything. And, it's kind of like water and, oil trying to mix, and they're not really working very well together. But then, once we see the fully grown xenomorph, I was like, what? Hell yeah. And taking out that Tang guy was absolutely hilarious, because anytime that Tang guy popped up and in the scenes in this section, or in this episode, I should say, he was like on point, like creepo. It was hilarious. Like, this guy did such a great job of playing such a creep. And I thought he did a fantastic job. Like, I almost at some point thought he was a synth, or even a robot of some sort, just because of how his reactions were and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, could he be maybe a synth? But then when he screams, when he sees the xenomorph, like totally obliterated that thought process. And I was like, he's just a bitch. And so I was like cracking up, like as he's like screaming, I'm like, that's hilarious. And so him getting attacked and killed by the xenomorph was like really awesome, I thought. And leading up to your endpoint, sir, I mean, it's just kind of a wild coaster ride, like you said, with the ups and downs of everything that's going on here, with all the action and all the creatures running amok and stuff like that, and causing all kinds of disturbances and stuff. And you keep seeing Morrow trying to control the situation, kind of, but at the same time, he's kind of not. He's kind of allowing it to go amok a little bit more. And that's kind of, once again, going back to previous episodes, thinking that there's definitely something up with Morrow. I feel he's not 100% exactly what he's supposed to be, and he's definitely in cahoots with somebody higher up and bad. And so it goes back to the whole time, since Alien 1, we've had Whaling Group being kind of the number one bad guy, having these extra other guys as, kind of in cahoots here too, working towards trying to be the, supreme organization. I think that's kind of interesting how it kind of was incorporated in this episode too here, and kind of how Moro was acting and stuff like that too at this point. So I think it's a very, very great, section of the episode. Lots of great action, great kills, and I think overall just a really fun part of the episode.
Okay. I will go over to you, Drew. Go ahead, sir.
Well, this second part of the episode is when things start getting pretty gross. Specifically with those leech monsters in the guy's lungs or whatever, or esophagus that are crawling around. That whole scene was bleh. It was cool. But no, I think this is the part of the episode where I was starting to go like, okay, wait, is the crew not as competent as I initially thought they were? Because this is where a lot of them start making sort of weird mistakes outside of Moro. Moro's the only one who seems to be on the job, as stated. The captain, she's sort of like doesn't really know what's going on. And the poor little apprentice character, he's got the leeches in his lungs, and as they're doing surgery, I'm like, oh well, they know how these things work and how like they but then all of a sudden they don't know how they work. Like I wasn't expecting poison mustard gas coming out of them. And apparently neither were they. But I was sort of like, wait, did they not know that they could do that? Or because nobody's wearing masks or anything like that. So granted, I understand it was a rushed process, but either way, that's sort of that right there is the sort of moment where the shit hits the fan, because simultaneously, yes, Sang gets attacked by the xenomorph, which is pretty cool. I was sort of expecting more from the Sang character after that, but I would guess I was fine with him going out that way. And then we get to the reveal, and this is, maybe somebody can correct me here, but the reveal that Petrovich, I think is his name, is the saboteur. Did we know who this character was beforehand?
No. This
was I was a little upset with that.
He was going in and out of his cryo sleep tube. You know what I'm saying? Like randomly. You know what I mean? Like going in and out.
Yeah, like the way the episode was sort of setting itself up, I kind of thought we were going to be doing a whodunit. Like, who's it going to be? But then it's sort of this new character that you can't really see coming. It's Mustache Man. I don't know. That's his name. But, yeah, I was like, oh, it was Petrovich. And I'm like, who's Petrovich again? So that was one of the moments in the episode where I was like, I don't know if I like that. I think it would have been neater if we finally got a reveal of somebody we sort of knew and established earlier in the episode as being the saboteur.
Great.
But yeah, like this is all the violent, gross stuff. This is where the franchise shines. Is we like to see people getting weird parasites and internally dismembered by alien creatures and stuff. So I liked all that stuff. I even liked the little moments of humanity between the engineer and the kid before he got the parasites. Like just there's that little relationship bonding that you can tell the older guy sort of cares about him, and even yeah, and he wants him. He's trying to make sure he's going to be okay. But then it all goes haywire with the poison gas stuff. But like it's a pretty fast paced second act. Like things start going into action, and pretty soon we're going to be left to our like sort of final characters rushing to the ending. And yeah, once again, Moro like steals the scene in every scene he's in, and the fact that him and so their name's Zaviri, the captain.
Yeah.
Zaviri, yeah. Like the fact that they're already butting heads sort of works pretty well with how we know their relationship ends at the very beginning of the first episode. So yeah, I liked all that. I think that's pretty much all I got to say about the second act.
Okay, Matthew, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, there's not much really to tack on. It's just it ratchets it up. I do love. I did find it interesting that in the med lab that you're right. No one's got any masks on. He goes, let's operate, and there's no one puts anything on. They just whip the scalpel down and they just slice him open. There's no prep at all, which suspend disbelief. That's fine. I did love the ticks. I thought that scene was really good. I thought that was really quite graphic, and them trying to pull them off, and I did really like. You get to see a bit of humanizing of the engineer, where he's like, he's just a kid. We've got to try and save him. Where it's harking back to the original Alien where they should have just killed him straight away. And it's just like, we know if anyone gets anything on them, just kill them straight away. Then there'll be no dramas and we'll all live happily ever after. But no, we try to do the humane thing and try to save him to everyone's detriment in the end. And then I did really love that scene where is it Zavira, whatever her name is, the captain, and the xenomorph comes down behind her and just stares at her. I thought that was really cool. And then the chase is on, which again goes back to Alien and Aliens, made me feel exactly that I felt in those movies. I also thought that now, again, the xenomorph is extremely smart, knows how to open the doors now. So she closed the door, it opened it straight after her. She knew that she had to, fucking seal the door so that the xenomorph couldn't get in. Like, since when did they know how to open the doors, push the buttons? Again, we got the world's smartest aliens. But I'm loving it. I think it's excellent. My question is, and I'm not sure whether we're going to get to it just yet, but my question with Morrow is that we know that he's got his own plan in the background. So we've got the saboteur who is trying to crash the shuttle, or the ship. But then you've obviously got Morrow, who we find out has got his own plan in the background. And I think some of that, in hindsight, some of that is the butting of heads with the new captain, because he wants to take control of the ship, right? He wants to. He's got his own plan. He wants to land. He almost wants to land it in the Cavalier space and then kill Cavalier. It's so we find, and so I think that this whole bit, which sort of gets played out at the end of the show, which we're not got to yet, but I just, any time that the xenomorph or any time the aliens are attacking, I think is excellent in this series across the board. I think they are so violent. I think the added aliens is a plus, but it's quite interesting that they're all parasites. Which is what the xenomorph is as well. They're all parasites, which I think is really cool. So we get that body horror that we're used to from the franchise in general. Really cool. Have we got to the bit where we got the eye monster? Are we talking about him? Because I thought that. I don't think we have yet, but I think that's the next part we'll get to.
Yeah.
But
that's in our last section.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cool. So, I think it's a really cool, action-packed, nerve-wracking part of the episode, which, again, harkens back to the original, and I'm all in. I think it's well done.
Okay. Andre is the pop culture guy. Time Cop, Time Lord, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. No. Matthew, you brought up something that was interesting about the ship going down. It's pretty clear. So this episode confirmed it wasn't Meryl that was crashing the ship to the project. That was actually accidental. This was the twist that we didn't know, that they had like a mole in the ship. So I agree with Drew about the whole what was his name again? I'm sorry,
Petrovich.
I agree with you. It was really lame not to have one of the characters we were following in this episode be the betrayer, the other corporate rival, to send the creatures. It makes sense now that the boy knew that the attorney was bringing back these creatures, so he had partnership, with this great deal. I'm gonna make you a rich man. Plus, I told you this highly secret thing he has told him, that I can make you younger again. I can put you in the synth body, and so that's why. So that person did everything for the boy to give him the aliens. So he was the one that crashed the ship to the island, because he was in the orders by the boy to do that. Marrow, he's in the ash role, where his job was to keep the alien species for the company to be safe, not dead. That was his whole mission. And we know he's a cyborg. He has feelings, so he didn't want everyone to die. But as we kind of discussed before, he's an employee. He's gonna do everything he can to like the cargo was priority, the crew responsible. So he had no choice. And that I know we're not yet towards the end. When he say fuck it, that means fuck it. Steven was dead, everyone's dead. So I have no choice. I had to make sure the cargo was top priority. So he just told Yotani that the cargo is safe, but he kind of lied and just told that the crew died, basically, the whole crew. So that was his mission. So now, and plus we got the reveal in this, I'll say it when we get into it, but, there's a reveal where he owes Yotani, like, a lot of favor because they did something for him. But anyway, so I liked this section. It was really good. I thought, we got the answer. So, like, obviously the Partridge's thing, he's the betrayer for the company. He, we got confirmed that the boy knew about the shipment of these aliens. So he wanted, like, because in the first episode, I was asking myself, like, why did he want these aliens so bad? And, like, how he knew, like, he was so nonchalant how this thing was, like, affected his city. And because he knew that the ship was going down to his area. So because he had someone inside of this, ship that was containing these highly dangerous aliens. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then, and then seeing Meryl handling the situation, he was the science officer. So his main job for the company, the Wayland attorney company, was to keep the cargo safe, the aliens safe, so that they can take it, and we all know this from the first Alien movie and even the Aliens movie, that they're expendable, for the company, so they don't care that they die. So Mara was doing his job during the section, so that made sense. But I like the moments when, he was acting as human. Like, he didn't like that the kid got killed, the assistant, which was so bad. Like, he got shot multiple times. And, oh man, when he did his, like, knife thing from his arm and stabbed Perosis, I was like, hell yeah. Thank goodness he died. I was like, oh my god, he was so annoying.
We didn't go that far yet, sir.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, it was cool to see his arm, like, being useful. But the eye creature, let me ask you guys, do you think the eye creature was trying to save that lady, or he just wanted to escape? Because it was so, like, he was trying to warn her about those, like, goddamn leech aliens, I thought that was interesting because he was knocking on his container because the leech was, like, getting out, obviously.
I thought he was just trying to get out of the fucking container.
You think so? I don't know.
I read that theory on Reddit as well, that they thought
Yeah.
the eyeball thing is actually a good guy, but I don't know.
Well, I think he was trying to warn her. It
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
looked like he was trying to warn her.
Yeah, that was my thing. Because I saw this, I rewatched this episode twice, and I was like, man, what is this eyeball, like, especially towards the end, again, not to spoil it, but, like, he does something that was interesting. Like, he didn't, did this, instead he did that, which we'll get into. But, like, yeah, I thought that was...
Is it mainly because if she got infected by the leeches, that it wouldn't be a good host for him then? Like,
Maybe, I don't know.
I would say it's the alien's probably more working on itself, like what's
Yeah.
best for itself, not.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, we saw what he did.
I don't know, but
I don't know. Like, he doesn't talk.
I can't imagine it cares for humans.
I think they all kind of do their own thing. They're like separate creatures that were fucking discovered individually. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they don't work together. You know what I mean? Or like, or like work with humans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No. I agree with you. Especially when we get to the end, like he kind of was kind of selfless. But anyway.
The eye creature is definitely not like helpful to people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like.
Well, there's one particular scene at the end where one could interpret it that way, but I don't personally think so. But
no, when we get into it, I personally think he was doing his own thing, trying to escape, and he knows that the Xenomorph was there, but whatever. I agree with you, Drew, and everyone brought up the stupid scientist not wearing the mask. That's typical horror thing 101. It's like, oh, we know that these two are dead because of the first episode. We know they're gonna die, so they just kind of like, oh, just out of cautious. Oh, we need to open this kid. Like, look, we need to open this kid's heart now to save him. All right, And so I don't care how risky it is, how we're going to be affected or, you know, turn into zombies, whatnot. I'm going to save this boy. You know, without precaution and like thinking like, wait a minute, you're dealing with aliens here. And like those were leeches. They're not bugs from our Earth. These are alien bugs. I just cannot believe they did that. So it was that was the moment I was like, okay, that was very Prometheus / Alien Covenant stupid character decisions that we need to like kill off these other characters, you know, because we know they're gonna die. That was the one moment I felt like it was like, okay, we're just killing them off because we know they're gonna die, you know. But man, Smeeth, the engineer, he was great. I really liked him. He's from the show I recognize him was from Black Mirror. He was in the episode White Bear, a really good one from that show, and he was really great. And I really like when he say he's just a kid, and I really like that detail because he was trying to be, you know, like he was kind of like his father, you know, and you know, father figure, you know, because you know he was a young kid, and it was really sad. And oh my god, when the kid started to like feel sick and then he puked the blood, I was like, oh my god. Like I really dug the horror stuff. I mean the kills were really good. I really liked that they did that. Yeah, so I thought the section was good. I kind of wish the corporate like twist was better. As Drew said before, I felt like, oh, like this character we didn't know. I was like, really? Like it'd be kind of be cool that it was either Smith or Tan. Like, because I like that Tank got killed by the Xenomorph. I agree with you guys, but like it was kind of lame too because we didn't do nothing with Tan. It was just like, oh, he was just like creepy guy. And by the way, I was checking the Alien Wicca fandom. He's not a Sith. He was actually a person. So my bad. I just thought just the way he acted was so weird, and that was the thing. It was kind of like a lame.
I was right. Tang was a fucking guy the whole time. I'm telling you.
Yes. I will vouch my role as an MCU Bleeding Edge host now. I'm sorry, guys. I made you think of this false information. I should have a Xenomorph affect me. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, but I'm like, why you want to kill it? I mean, I don't know. Tan was okay. He was lame. He was creepy. I don't know why we have another creep in the show, but whatever. So that's my thoughts on the second half.
Okay.
Wait, one quick thing to
Go
throw
ahead.
out is the scene when the kid drinks the leech stuff. It felt like that scene was directly supposed to be imitating the chestburster scene from the first Alien.
Yeah.
Where he's like starting to cough and, you know, but then they do a joke where he's like, oh, because he's eating like a spicy burrito or something. But then that causes him to drink the thing. I think that was sort of a clever sort of misdirection where it's like, oh, we're doing a fun little a nod to Alien, but that ends up leading to some other bad shit that happens to him. Not necessarily a facehugger, but you know, or a chestburster. But
it was funny when they were teasing about the black chick was going to maybe get affected by the leech as well because he was holding it. And I was like, oh, she's gonna drink it. Oh no, she's not gonna drink it. And then it's like, oh
yeah.
I didn't mention it earlier at any point, you know, during my read off of the episode, but we did have the chest burst, you know, through the one dude's chest, right, and create, you know, the xenomorph, right, like they did have it, obviously, right, but so where we end up at basically is that you know, after we figure out that, you know, Boy Cavalier has worked out this deal to get the ship crashed into Prodigy territory, Petrovich kills Clem, and is in turn killed by Moreau with like one of the most brutal stabbing kills I've ever seen on TV, probably. Who retreats to the control room and seals himself in. You know, going back to like episode 1 or whatever of the show, we get that all over again. Zavari is killed by the xenomorph outside the door. The chase of the xenomorph with her, right, and then the fight of the xenomorph against the fucking the one-eye alien when it possesses the engineer was fucking crazy, bro. Crazy. With everyone dead, Moreau locks himself in the panic room and awaits the crash. Back in the present, Moreau meets with Yutani, offering to retrieve the specimens by force and kill Cavalier. And we find out that you know, Moreau has this like, you know, history with you know, with Yutani. Going back, you know, generations, you know, of leadership of Yutani, you know. So he's got some pull, like, with Yutani, almost. So yeah, brutal fucking fight with the eye alien, manifesting the human against the xenomorph. That was crazy. So what did you guys think of all that? That's obviously the end of the episode. And I will go to Matthew. I'll go to you first, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, awesome episode. Oculus, the eye alien, is fast becoming a favorite. I'm interested to see, what happens with it for the rest of the series. But that whole thing in the control room is awesome. The chase, her being chased into the control room, is great. I think then having the engineer there and just standing still and then turning around and you see the eye and you're like, fuck a duck. I thought that was awesome. The fight with him and the alien was great. It was a really good ending. And then obviously we then cut to what stuff that we had seen before. Him locking himself in the room waiting for the crash, and then we have the cut back to when he's talking to Yutani, and then we get the idea about what his role is in the whole thing, about that he's there to protect the aliens, and also then he's going to kill Cavalier is very interesting. And it's, again, it becomes that whole thing where humans are the worst. Humans are the worst aliens of them all. They don't give a fuck about them. As Ripley said in Aliens, you don't see them fucking themselves over for a percentage. And I think that, again, we are learning now. It's not just that Cavalier's a bit of a dick, but also Yutani's a dick. But we've known that all along. I just think it's a really good ending to an episode that has been, for me, the highlight of the season so far, and the highlight of the Aliens franchise since 1986. So, interested to see what happens from here on. Obviously, we're left now with it would appear that all the real good stuff is done now, because it's going to be hard to match that. But we're going to go back and find out what happens to these to the synths, and in a storyline that I'm not as invested in it as what Alien Earth would want me to be invested in it. As I don't think that is not the main storyline that I particularly care about, but quality ending. Can't wait to see what happens next, but I feel that I might be let down after episode 5.
Oh, all right. Well, that's interesting that you would say that, Matthew. Okay. Drew.
And I guess hang on, and that then goes back to, this is 8 years of getting used to being let down. So I'm hoping they're going to change my tune, and that we can talk after episode 8 and go, nah, episode 5 was just the start. It was the catalyst, and it was fucking amazing, and it just got better and better and better. I'm hoping we have that discussion. But I'm going to prepare myself for not having that discussion and say this was the high watermark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drew, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I love this ending. I love how we get a full recontextualization about Morrow not being the one that's crashing the ship. That he's been a company man the whole time, and that eventually his whole plan is now just to essentially get the specimens and then, I guess, claim vengeance against the one who basically started this all, the boy genius. So that's good motivation for Morrow, especially a character that I've already liked. I kind of like him a lot more just with this episode. One bit that was a little confusing to me, I guess I'll try and break this down as best I can. During this final big chase, the xenomorph is chasing Zaveri. She goes into the room. She runs into the Oculus that's taken over the engineer, and it's a really great scene. It's super tense, and it's just standing there really creepily. He turns around, and then he just rushes her. And then there's like a cut. And then it shows Morrow coming out of like a vent right outside the same door. He goes into the door, and now she's just lying there unconscious, and the Oculus is standing off to the side doing nothing. And I was just sort of like, what just happened? Like, did he like knock her out and then just walk away? Like, what was that? Like, I honestly don't know what I was supposed to make of what was the eye creature like? Why did it attack her? I guess I don't know, but
I feel like I think it just attacked. because I think the eye creature knew the Xenomorph was there, so I think he just wanted to wait to to face the Xenomorph. That's
But
what
then-
I thought.
But when Morrow comes in and sees
Yeah.
her, then he pulls his gun out,
Mhm.
and then it seems like the eye creature summons the Xenomorph with like a scream. It like howls, and then the Xenomorph shows up, and then Morrow says, "All right, fuck it," and just like zaps the eye guy, runs past him. But then the eye monster and the Xenomorph start fighting, the whole thing sort of just confused me because like, well, the eye guy just summoned the Xenomorph, and now they're fighting. Like, I don't know what. Like, did he summon the Xenomorph to kill Morrow and hopefully get away? Was it all self-preservation, and it just went wrong for the eye creature? I guess I don't know what I was supposed to take away from that. I don't know. It just seemed a little odd to me. Specifically, just Zavari getting knocked out or whatever. Like, it didn't even kill her. It just sort of, I don't know, hit her on the head or something. I don't know. But the final shot I was really amused by in the present day with Morrow. He's like talking to like this Empress lady, and she has like the Emperor Palpatine's royal guards, like sitting in every corner of the room. They're all wearing like those red garbs that the Palpatine
Samurai
guys have.
guards, yeah.
They're like the samurai guards, but they all have like pulse rifles. You know, I thought that was really neat. It had a really cool like little atmosphere for her office. But yeah, outside of that, just sort of like strange moment where I was like, "What happened there? The eyeball thing, and the Xenomorph, are they friends? Is the eyeball guy trying to help people? Is it just trying to help itself? I really don't know because the scene was a little confusing to me. I don't know really what else to take away from that. But I guess I mean, obviously, there's a bit of a mystery with the eyeball thing. I think there's going to be more with it. Obviously, we'll see what happens. But yeah, overall, really happy with the show. I will take this over something like Romulus any day of the week. If I'm being honest, yeah, would recommend.
Okay. Andre, the pop culture guy, go ahead.
Yeah, I when we got to this final moments of the episode, I was like, hell yeah, this is the best episode of the show. I mean, I kind of spoke earlier about the Marrow versus the Popovich guy. That was really cool to see, like like gun to gun fight. Reminded me of Aliens a little bit. With the the guns, and oh man, when the kid got shot, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna die. And and he got shot towards the head. I was like, oh no. And then just what was Marrow gonna do? And he was smartly like gutting him, and then like he came close when the fog thing, like one of the I don't know, like the steam stuff from the pipes were were pumping the air, like fog stuff, and then like bam, stabbed him to the chest. I was like, hell yes, thank you. And then when when we had the like similar to Tan revealing like, oh, doing this like clue, like almost like the Riddler is like, oh yeah, you didn't know that I was gonna do this, huh? I was like, oh my god, what are you gonna say? And of course, throughout the episode, we knew that Purchase was doing something with the ship, like trying to coordinate the ship to like land to the Prodigy like city. And so, like, of course, which we kind of knew that was kind of weird. We were dumbing down about that. Like, Merrill knows that he was sent there to like make the ship land to like whatever like location that the project was at. So he realized that, oh, this ship is gonna like be like a missile basically and like crash down like the rocket. And so that was interesting. And then we saw that the awesome Xenomorph chase against Safar was really cool. It was like really great chasing. I don't think we've seen kind of subtle chase scenes we have for the Xenomorphs in some of the live action films, but not like this. This was really cool, and it was like spectacular. It was like very scary. And we'll get into the bridge. I do agree with Drew. It was kind of weird. Like they were trying to do this like what do you call it, like a long take. Like you're seeing the inside of the bridge, and then we pull back, seeing the Xenomorph like crawling out like back to like wait to see the door open itself, and then we see Marrow. Like that was kind of weird. And then I don't know what the eye creature is. I mean, we don't know it can talk. You know, I don't know if maybe later in this series we'll see the creature to learn more intelligence, and he will probably start talking. I don't know what, like with the human, like either he affects the human or not, but we'll see. But I don't care. I mean, I thought the fight scene between the eye creature and the Seymour was cool. When he like was gonna chase after the Seymour, like face off, I was like, whoa! And then he jumps in, and it was like, whoa! You know, I was like, whoa! You know, and then the tail. Like, oh my god, the tail is so crazy. And then he stabs him 3 times in the back. I was like, whoa. And I was like, damn, he was so strong. Like, he didn't get killed. And you know, and then after that, the body was too injured. And, like, of course, the Steamer does the usual trick of, like, getting the second mouth, you know, to kill it by the neck. And then the eye creature escaped, which was funny. By the way, you guys didn't mention, it was funny when after that was done, the eye creature jumps on the Seymour to, like, even affect that. That was funny. And, like, the Seymour was trying to get it off. It was hilarious, but, like, very cool to see that, like, even without the eyes, like, the eye creature will either, like, attack it or not. You know, that was a really cool scene. And then, you know, we got the recap of, like, how, you know, like the first one, we see Meryl, like, going to the pod, and, you know, Sari dying by the Seymour, like, in the first episode, you know. And then we get to, like, the present day, and this is where it was very interesting seeing the reveal that, like, the current Yotani granddaughter talks to Meryl and reveals that, you know, her grandmother, like, had a likeness to Meryl because, you know, Meryl was rescued by her because, you know, some, like, either sympathetic or potential to, like, use Meryl as like as a gift or you know, something else. We don't know what. And so that's how he gets his robotic half implant arm that we've been seeing throughout the series. I was like, okay, that's why he's very loyal to her, you know, loyal to the family of Yotani. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And we haven't talked about this, but, like, I like the daughter background. Like, he had, like, a daughter, and before he left, you know, we got the really sad moment that his daughter died during the 65-year mission. That was a really great scene when he read the note. And I thought that was a really good performance from the actor that played Meryl. But with this ending, it was really interesting. He said, look, I will still hold my promise with your grandmother. I will bring back the cargo. Excuse me. Plus, you know, killed Cavalier, which makes sense. And I love the line when she talks to her, like, her henchman, give him whatever he wants. He gets it. And then we get the cool Smashing Pumpkin song, and bam, great episode. So I thought it was just borrow my rating. This is a 10 out of 10 episode. Amazing. Just made me so excited for the episode. Unlike Matt review, I'm very optimistic this series will stick the landing because I trust Noah Hawley. I mean, like, he done Fargo, great seasons, and Legion was good. I know people had some mixed feelings for season 2 and 3, but he knows how to deliver, you know, a series. And you know, it's just now we got the full picture now, and I'm very curious where we're going to do with our characters that we're coming back for next week. So that's my thoughts on the finale.
Okay, Cyber, close us out, sir.
Okay. So the ending of the episode is really good. It's kind of a reiteration of what we saw in a previous episode when we saw the plane crash and everything. We just kind of see the things that they needed to fill in that we didn't see originally. And so I think that's done really well. I mean, we get lots of great action. We get to see more of what leads to certain things more. We see what happens to all the different crew people. We have that really awesome eye taking over the human fight in the Xenomorph, which was freaking phenomenal. Oh my gosh, that eye thing is freaking insane. And as we saw earlier in the episode, when it gets out of its cage to go frolicking into the ship somewhere, we can see how intelligent this freaking creature is, and how it looks, and how it's like staring and looking at things. And we even saw that in the previous episode with the sheep. And So I mean, this thing is definitely highly intelligent. You're just like, that freaking thing creeps me the fuck out. I'm like, holy shit. And so when we get to that point where the to be captain runs into that room and is trying to close it off so the xenomorph can't get in, and he's just standing there, you're like, oh shit, something's wrong. There's something wrong. And then he turns and we see the fucking eye. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? I'm like, that's insane. And then when that creature uses them to fight the xenomorph, I was like, wow, that is freaking insane. And great writing and great acting by everyone there. And that just blew me away. I thought it was so freaking awesome and so much fun. And then of course leading into, basically seeing Morrow get into that room again, as the airship is about to crash. It's kind of just a reiteration of what we already saw, but stellar, phenomenal, ending with that action sequence with the xenomorph and the guy. And I just thought it was super superb. Really great conclusion to the episode. Cinematic, fantastic.
Okay. Thank you, Cyber. All right, guys, let's do ratings quick, and then we'll do our plugs. We'll be out of here. We're at the 2-hour mark, flat. So, Cyber, since I was already back with you, sir, what's your rating, sir?
I give this one a 10, sir. Fantastic, great episode.
All right, Drew, what's your rating, sir?
8.5 out of 10. Pretty good. Pretty great, honestly. I think it's my second highest episode.
Okay. All right. 8.5. Andre, the pop culture guy, you said it's a 10, right?
Yes, 10 out of 10. You know why? They had 3 things I wanted: sex, murder, and intrigue. That's all I have to say. Oh God! When I saw the captain having sex with the person, I was like, huh, best episode ever. And yeah, I thought Jeff would like this. And I'm like, this is gonna be the best episode. So 10 out of 10.
Yep. I thought Murrow was gonna watch the video and like jerk off watching it or whatever,
You gotta
Matt,
be careful not to chop his dick off with his knife, though.
maybe
Yeah,
he might not
does
even
that.
have it. He might not even have a dick anymore. Maybe he like changed it for a different kind of part or something. What's your rating, Matthew?
10 out of 10. My favorite episode so far, and the best that Aliens has been since 1986.
All right, I will second that. 10 out of 10. It is a definite 10 out of 10. Great episode, wonderful, loving Alien Earth. I do not have any apprehension like Matthew does about the rest of the show. I think these next 2 episodes are going to be fabulous. All right, that is our review here at the MCU's Bleeding Edge of Alien Earth Episode 5. Folks, we are going to go ahead and let all of our wonderful team creators and guest creators plug their current individual content. We'll start with Matthew from Down Under. Here you go, Matthew. Tell us about what's going on at Born to Watch.
Yeah, welcome to Born to Watch, the movie podcast where we don't take ourselves or the movies too seriously. Look, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcasts. Get involved. Check us out. We've just done a 50th anniversary on Jaws. A whole heap of us went and saw it at the movies, which was really fun to go back on and talk through. But we got some really good stuff coming up. We're actually going to do F1 the movie in the next few weeks, which is going to be the new for us because we don't generally do new movies. We usually do 80s and 90s movies, but we're going back. In saying that, No Country for Old Men's been our best episode of all time so far, so maybe there is something in doing some modern stuff. But join the community, get on our website, borntowatch.com.au, leave us a voicemail, leave us a review. It'd be good to have you along as a F-wit and fellow watcher.
Most definitely. And I enjoyed Born to Watch. I enjoyed checking out the podcast version of the Rogue One review. It was really good.
Born to Watch.
Hopefully we'll be back. Hopefully I'll be back on the Born to Watch as a guest again soon.
Definitely. Most definitely.
We'll see in the future. Drew, you will be next, sir. Thank you for coming on tonight. As always, sir, we are very, very happy to have you. It's great to see you.
Oh, well, thank you.
where do I go on Nights of Nostalgia? 'Cause I know most of what you're doing is gaming these days, right?
Gaming, and then if there's something that strikes me and my friend's fancy, we might do watch reviews or whatever. We made some Daredevil Born Again shorts, as well as a lot of we did a pretty lengthy Andor stream just talking about how awesome Andor was.
Oh, okay. So you got a bunch of different shit going on.
Yeah. You'll see me streaming, doing mostly gaming. I think the most recent thing we did was a Zelda 2 randomizer. Then we also played through Dark Souls, Lies of P. I've been sort of recovering from a chest cold recently, so I haven't streamed in the last few days, but I'll probably be on at some point in the next day or so with some more gaming stuff. So yeah, that's basically me.
Well, Drew, you are always welcome to come back over here to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge whenever you want, sir. We always enjoy having you on. So whenever you have that itch to, talk about movies or TV or whatever that you're not currently going to cover on, Nights of Nostalgia, please reach out and let me know, when you're available, and I'll put you on whatever we're, covering. It seems like for the most part, we watch a lot of the same TV shows every year, so.
Yeah. I'm usually most passionate about talking about like older horror movies or even newer horror movies. Like, I don't know if you guys are planning on covering Weapons anytime soon, but I've got a lot to say about that movie.
Honestly, sir, we don't even have we're all TV. You know how we are sometimes.
Yeah.
All the way into October. So at that point, I'm not even sure what movies we have available, but I'll let you know when we get there. We don't usually do that much newer stuff, though. You know what I'm saying, though? I'll be honest with you. And I know Weapons was pretty new.
Yeah, it's the new Zach Krieger film.
Yeah, but I'm glad you really enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you, we're going to be doing that HBO prequel to the It movies show.
Yeah.
In October for the next couple of months, and that should be pretty fun to watch and talk about. And of course, Fallout Season 2 is coming out in December.
Yeah. I'll probably be watching. I'll definitely be watching the Dairy Show. Fallout 2, I'm still on the fence about watching or not. I don't know, though.
Okay. Good to know. Andre's the pop culture guy, sir.
Hello, everyone. This is Andreas, pop culture guy. Well, it was great to talk to you guys again, Matthew and Drew. Drew, feel better. I hope you, recovered quickly. I know those colds are really bad. So I recently posted the opening shark film from Draws because 2 days ago, what was it, 2 days or 3 days ago, it was, as Matthew brought up before, the re-release of the 50th anniversary for Draws. And you want to check out the Draws content I did, because it's right there. I did a live stream review with Jeff 2 months ago. I did a tribute, so check that out. Plus, you brought up Weapons, Drew. I actually seen Weapons recently. Great film. I love it. It was a great horror film. It's kind of tough to either say it's the best. I mean, it's definitely my second favorite after Sinners, another great horror film in my opinion for 2025. So you can check out my short review that I did for Weapons just today. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. My content. I have content right now working on right now, so it will release in a couple days. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Thank you, Andres, the pop culture guy, sir. It's wonderful to do another show with you tonight. Enjoyed doing Alien Earth with you. Cyberneticshark, sir, you are last, and there you are, sir. Tell us what's going on over at Cyberneticshark.
All right, folks, so if you enjoyed me here on the panel or as a moderator of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark, all one word, on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, pretty much any social media platform. I can see there my most recent 2 videos are 2 trailer reactions, one for Mortal Kombat 2, which got pushed out till next year. Anyways, nothing else on that. But you can also check out my trailer reaction there. I just uploaded today of the upcoming Pixar film Hoppers, which actually doesn't look too shabby of a film. It is all new original material. It's not a sequel to anything, so it looks like it might be halfway decent. If you haven't checked out my Fantastic Four review or my I Know What You Did Last Summer review, those are up there too. You can check those out. My most recent, of course, shorts. Most recent, of course, is the Toxic Avenger. And then I also put up a couple of the evil bongs as well. If you haven't seen those, all are on Tubi for free to check out. They're freaking hilarious. Oh my God. They're so much fun. Check them out. Anyways, I'll be having more stuff for you guys soon, more reviews, all that kind of good stuff. So keep on trucking, keep on subscribing, keep on watching us here on the MC's Bleeding Edge. We appreciate you and keep helping all these other great creators out. We enjoy you guys, and yeah, you guys rock it.
Hey, anytime you can find something good on Tubi, that is a rare occasion. Sometimes, can be rough over there on Tubi. But folks, we appreciate everybody out there that caught us live tonight. We appreciate everybody out there that catched us in audio form or video form after the show is over. Appreciate Matthew for coming on and Drew. Appreciate you, Andre, Cyber, being on the panel tonight. Hope I did a decent job moderating. And folks, we will see you again on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. At least Cyber and I and Andres will on Friday night for us for Peacemaker. Episode 3, Andres will be moderating that night. So that should be fun. And we'll have some new guest creators on that episode as well. So we'll see you guys on the next one. And we wish everybody the best. Take care. Peace. There you go. So,